Hello everyone, my name is Godara and this is my third DIY assignment, assembly and disassembly. So I am going to assemble and disassemble this laptop. So now let's move on. So I have switched on the laptop and you can clearly see that it's working perfectly. So now let's switch it off and open it. So I have removed the back cover of my laptop and this is how it looks. Now let's talk about the components of the laptop one by one. So first of all let's talk about this. This is battery and it is connected to the motherboard through this point. So now let's remove it. So we have successfully removed the battery of laptop and the yellow points you are seeing here is the point through which the battery was connected to the motherboard. So now let's talk about this. So this blue thing is known as the trackpad of the laptop, and the thing next to the trackpad are the left and right click button of our laptop. So now let's open the screws and see them. So we have removed this and you can clearly see that there are two button shapes on this thing, and this is the left click button and the other one is right click button. So now let's place it back to its position. So now let's move to our next component. So this green box is known as the hard disk drive, and now let's remove it. So the work of hard disk drive is to store the operating system, applications and data files such as documents, pictures and music in our computer, and my hard disk is of 1 TB. You can see clearly. So and it is joined to the motherboard through that blue point. So now let's place it aside and move to our next component. So now let's move to our next part, which is random access memory RAM. The green plate you are seeing here is the RAM, and the other empty slot you are seeing is the second slot of RAM. I have installed RAM in only one slot, not in the second one. The RAM is form of temporary computer storage that allows stored data to be received and read almost instantaneously. So this is the fan and it is used for cooling our laptop, and the other thing you are seeing here is the heat sink, which is used for getting the heat out from the laptop. So now let's remove our fan. So we have removed our fan and it is attached to the motherboard through a wire, and now let's keep it in aside. So as I told, this thing is known as heatsink and it is responsible for getting the heat out of laptop. So now let's try to remove heatsink also. So I have opened the screw and now let's remove it from motherboard. We have to do it safely. So so now let's talk how heatsinks remove heat from our laptop. So it has pores. The actually hot air from the laptop passes through these pores and it comes out of the laptop through these pores. So let me keep the heatsink aside and move to our next component. So the blue board you are seeing here is the card reader. It is used for reading the card we have inserted. And the green small box you are seeing here is Wi-Fi card. It is used for connecting our laptop to the Wi-Fi whenever required. So next, let's move to our next component. So the small chip you are seeing here is one of the most important thing of our laptop, which is also called brain of our laptop, which is processor. So my laptop has Intel i3 7th generation processor. The blue board you are seeing here is one of the most important components of our laptop, which is known as motherboard. The work of motherboard is to connect all the components of our laptop, and it has many circuits also, and the processor itself is embedded in the motherboard itself, so you can understand the importance of motherboard. So these three are USB ports of my laptop, and there is also a 3.5 mm headphone jack, you can see. And so now let's assemble all the components of a laptop and see if it's working or not. So as you can see, the laptop is on and it's working perfectly. So this was my DIY assignment 3. Thank you.